Hello everybody, my name is Sirhc and welcome back to the NightOwl Season 1 map. The season is over, but I thought we'd take a little tour today, take a trip through memory lane and recap everything that I've personally done this season and just kind of talk about all the builds and such. So, we're starting off here at the flood farm. First two things I made on the server were a chicken farm and the flood farm. The chicken farm has since been replaced by Vengeance Tech with a much more sophisticated chicken farm. But this thing is still here. One of my first builds. Built it in the second episode, I think. And it's alright. We really needed food back then. We started the server in 1.6, and in 1.6 food saturation was nerfed quite a bit. So hunger depleted quite a bit faster than it did in 1.5. None of us were ready, and so we kind of struggled to stay fed those first week or so. But this thing helped a lot. Got wheat, potatoes, and carrots. All of it, each one has like their own button to harvest it. So we got all these buttons, plot 4, plot 3, and such. I'm not going to do more because our FPS is pretty bad here in spawn, and with all these water updates, it's not helping much. But all of this flows down into the channel and gets sorted out into our chests over here. The design of this build is not great. It's not bad, I wouldn't say. It's a lot better than builds that I did previously, like on the COS server. But I can definitely say that I've grown a lot with my building skills over the time of this season. And I hope that most of my other builds look a little bit better than this. It's not that this thing is bad, it's just that it's pretty much all stone. I mean, it was built in one of the first days on the server, like during the first week on the server. So I didn't have much other than stone, but still, it's pretty plain. I tried to work in as much detail as I could, but with my limited building knowledge and skills and with limited resources, this is what came up of it. And also, this door, I designed this door here on the server. It is a special leg-proof door that when you push the button, both of these iron doors open up, and then when you go through, they stay open until you go through and step on the pressure plates. I have a tutorial on that if you ever want to know how to build it. It's pretty, it's pretty useful. Some people complain about it, but mainly because when you walk through, you have to walk through on that pressure plate, just the way that the redstone works. Little leg spike there. But other than that, it works pretty nicely. And while we're over here, I do want to go in chronological order, but while we're over here, let's take a look at this little farm. This is my automatic bone meal wheat farm, also leg proof. It works off of a bud switch. Sadly, you can see redstone here. Ethos made one that hides the redstone, but his doesn't have the hoppers and the extra storage that mine has, so I would say mine's still slightly better. But this is an example of maybe a little bit better building than I've done previously. Got a nice barn here with the red stained clay and the curved roof. My first barn, well, I think it's probably my second barn in Minecraft, but I'd say it's my first good looking barn. Very nice. And all the redstone back here is hidden by hay bales very cleverly. In fact, some of it is kind of showing here. Yeah, kind of cool. Again, I have a tutorial on that. If you want to know how to make that, just look it up in my channel. The next thing that I believe I built was this beautiful furnace, this auto smelter here. This is one of my favorite things in Minecraft. This giant array of 64 furnaces. So much work went into this to get the materials for this. I built this within like the first week, 2 weeks, and this is a lot of iron. It's 3 stacks of hoppers, which would mean 5 iron for each hopper, so 15 stacks of iron. It was a lot of caving that I had to do for iron, but honestly, it's not too hard to get iron. It's just a lot of exploring, a lot of caving, and it probably would have been nice if I built the iron farm before I built this, but I built the iron farm out of hardened clay, and so this thing was also nice to smelt all the clay blocks into hardened clay to use for that. So it's kind of like the iron farm would have been nice to build before this so I could have all the iron, but this thing was also nice to have when I was building the iron farm, because back then we didn't have mesas, so you had to go find lots and lots of clay out in the oceans. I don't think anyone before 1.6, no one ever went searching for clay as much as you did then. And then 1.7 came out and you have mesas, and then no one had to go out searching in oceans for clay anymore. So it's kind of interesting, unless you want bricks, I guess, or just clay blocks. But yeah, the way this thing works is you stick your smeltable materials in this chest, stick your fuel in here. They both go back and forth on these rails, sticking one item at a time into each hopper, and everything smelts and everything gets pulled out the bottom and put into this chest. Works very nicely, very quickly. I added in like a little variable thing so that you can only you could make it so that only a certain number of minecarts are working, or a certain number of furnaces are working at a time. I didn't use this feature very much. It's honestly not that good of a feature, but it was a little something extra that I added. And then of course, to cover the whole thing up, I was kind of trying to think of how I wanted to make this look good, and I believe this brewing stand was built before the furnace. So I got the idea, hey, what if I kind of followed the same suit and built a giant furnace? And I think it turned out really well. It was probably one of my best pixel arts, and I really like it. Turned out awesome. Luckily, there's lots of lots of white and gray and black textures in Minecraft, so I was able to work out something really nice there. And speaking of the brewing stand, I didn't work on this until much later, but the brewing stand was here, like I said, I believe like first week, built by End and AJ, if I remember correctly. And they had plans to do something with brewing related in there, but they never did anything. And so Vert came along and put in a little brewing place down in the basement, where you could brew up just single batches of potions for yourself. And no one really used it, so I decided to come in here later and redid it, made it more of a shop type thing. And down here I have my brewing factory, a little brewing stand array type thing. The brewing array, this is actually one of the first things that I tried to design when 1.5 came out and we had the redstone update. I was trying to think of different things that you could use all the new blocks for. I didn't really know much about redstone back then, but I was able to make a brewing array. I keep on saying away. I was able to make like a brewing assembly line. It was kind of different than what I have here. Is a little bit clunkier, and I had the brewing stands like kind of go down at a diagonal. But I did get something that worked, and then I started watching Etho's videos. I haven't been watching him for super long. He definitely wasn't one of the first Minecrafters that I watched regularly. And I saw that he had a brewing stand array. And so I was like, you know what? I want to try and figure out how to get, that brewing stand array to actually work. Because I've wanted to build one of those for a while. I wanted to put the original brewing stand array in my first single player series way back when I first started YouTube, but I never got around to it. So I finally I saw a little bit of what he did, and so I based the design off of his, but I wanted to try and figure out most of it for myself, and so mine is a little bit different than what he has, but it works just as good. It works quite well. I was able to make a lot of potions with this thing. And over here, I just got a bunch of storage and a bunch of ingredients over here. And I have all my... Oh, someone must have dug into this or something. Got some snow missing. And then I have all my recipes for potions up here. So that thing worked pretty nice. I was able to sort of stock this place. I wasn't too good at stocking it, but a lot of people didn't really come in here anyways. It was nice for Abba caving when we did our tournament. I was able to keep this stock with like speed potions and night vision potions. Other than that, not much use out of this, but I think it's still turned out pretty well. And then behind the brewing stand, this is the villager shops. This originally was made to breed villagers for the iron farm. That was the sole purpose of it. It was supposed to be a place to breed with them, or breed them, not breed with them, to breed the villagers with each other, and then to trade with them. For a while, I didn't really have any of these insides decorated. It was pretty much just a shell, but I wanted it to kind of look like a strip mall, and so that's the idea behind it. Of course, eventually we got some perfect villagers and we stuck them up into a little pod over there. I'm sure you've seen them before. There's Papyrus and Papyrus 2.0 after Papyrus broke, or kind of broke. He didn't entirely break. And Griswold, who sells us all of our tools and stuff. But this thing worked really well for breeding all the villagers. I stuck some doors underneath here, which are now all covered up because we didn't need this for breeding anymore. I was able to get about 30 villagers in here at a time, and then I pulled them out of here and brought them over to the Iron Golem farm, which we can see up here. This was my next project. Oh yes, this was a lot of fun. Took a long time because of all the clay. Again, this was back in 1.6 when we had to search the ocean for lots of clay. Vert, again, helped me a lot with this one. Thanks to him, I was able to get it done in not too long of a time. But yeah, this is my first Iron Golem farm that I've made. It was definitely a challenge, especially getting all the villagers up here, but we were able to make it. And then we have our Iron Golem temple. Let's go through. Much later on, I built this bridge over to it. It was originally just like a really lame path that went down there, and I never really did anything with this. I just kind of cleaned it out. I think I did put an ice path through there, but eventually I moved the path over to here. Tried to incorporate the green and brown from the rest of the build and the fences, and got a little door here. And then in here we have the temple and the sanctuary. I never really worked on this as much as I would like. I wanted this place looking a little bit less plain than what it is now, but I think it's all right. It's not too bad. And the main purpose was the middle building in the center, which I tried to kind of give it a nice Asian feel to it, make it kind of an Asian temple-y build. And got a fancy redstone in here that sorts out the poppies and the iron and sticks them into these chests, and then if these fill up, it throws everything away. Don't have too much iron in here right now, but we are filled up with poppies. So, the Iron Temple. And finally, after all of those community builds, I was living in a cave for a while doing all that stuff, but I finally started work on this log cabin. I said in the first episode that this is what I wanted to build, a nice log cabin over here, and I think I was able to kind of realize my vision quite well. I love this build. It's definitely the best house that I've ever built. I'm very happy about it. And recently, in episode 79, when we were kind of ending off the season, I came over here and finished up the outside. I never really gave a good look. I never really gave a good look of the outside when I was doing that, which I kind of realized while editing. But yeah, this is what I have for all the paths. There's little bushes everywhere and some flowers and a little bit of grass. The first thing I actually built over here was this stable. One of my first tasks on this server that I did was I was making maps. that was another thing that I wanted to do right from the get-go. Was I wanted to make a big map of the server. And so in my explorations, I found lots of horses and wanted to bring them back for myself and for spawn. I was planning on like doing a bunch of breeding. This was all before we found out that horses were not that useful. They die very easily, and most of them are not very fast or jump very high. But I mean, if you can get a good horse, they are very nice. But yeah, so I needed a place to put the horses, so we made this thing way before we actually started work on the log cabin. And then later on, I added a separate pen here for bunnies. I kind of broke it a bit. This is where I think I was AFKing over here while I was waiting for the bunnies to mature so I could breed them again, since when I was breeding them, they acted like pets, so I couldn't actually go anywhere. I had to just sit there and breed them. And also, while we're talking about horses, right through here, I haven't been to this place in a long time, and I planned on doing a lot more with this, but over here is my cemetery. Here lies No Name, and here lies the Enterprise. Yes, those are two of the horses that I have killed on this server. I believe I've killed more than that, but those are two of them. No Name was one of the first horses that I found. It was a great horse. I believe how No Name died was I was actually lagging really badly. My internet was crapping out, and I was riding him, and it was dangerous, and there was mobs everywhere and creepers, and I just kind of froze, so I quick logged out. I came back on a little bit later, like a couple of minutes later, and like one of the creepers was still there, blew up. I quick logged off because I couldn't move at all. I was just like stuck because of the lag, and I logged on again a little bit later, and my horse was dead, very sadly. So that was him. That was No Name. I never named him, which is very sad. And then we had the Enterprise, which I found while working on the space base. I found him way out 10,000 blocks to the north, and I believe he drowned underneath some ice. I tried jumping over some ice when I was heading out to a mesa biome, and I think that was the Enterprise. No, wait, Enterprise. I think Enterprise died in the Nether. I believe I went into the... Yeah, I remember. I had it on camera. I went into the Nether, and there was a creeper that blew up right away and hurt him. And then there was also a skeleton, and the skeleton, I believe, shot him. Actually, I might have even killed the Enterprise when I was trying to like kill the creeper and kill the skeleton, and it was just a chaos and a mixture of bad things, and the Enterprise died. It was another horse that actually drowned under ice when I tried jumping over a river. Didn't quite make it. Enterprise, or the horse, like went underneath the ice, and I couldn't get it out before it drowned, which is very sad. But anyways, back to the log cabin. enough of that death and sadness. Let's toggle this downfall. If I can type, there we go. Downfall toggled. So, log cabin. Very nice. The first thing I built was the fireplace. I knew right from the get-go that if I was making a log cabin, it had to have a fireplace. So I did some testing in creative to make sure that nothing would burn, and nothing has burned, which is very nice. So we have the fireplace, and then I moved on over to like the entrance and the stairs and stuff. This build took a little while trying to figure out exactly how I wanted everything. We have a little bit of, we have a few redstone things like my bookshelves here that pop out. And then there's Scruffy. Can you see it? Scruffy. My pet Endermite is kind of like a hamster type thing. I got him pretty recently. My bedroom up here. Oh, what is going on with the armor stands? I'm in 1.8 pre-release, or 1.8.1 pre-release 3. I haven't seen this before, so that must be new to this pre-release, to this snapshot thing. What else? Other things for redstone, I have a fish tank here. Again, I have another tutorial for this. It is not working right now. I think it might be working. It might be low on fish. One of the problems with this is the hopper timer keeps duplicating items, and so it stops working because the hopper timer gets too many items and then it doesn't run anymore. So that's kind of a shame. And then we got our kitchen in here. I changed these countertops several times. I just couldn't decide what I wanted. And as we kept getting new blocks, I kept like switching it to the new blocks. Whoops. Got a little furnace thing here. My potion brewing bar with my diamond blocks. Some of my first diamond blocks. Wanted to make this thing look very extravagant. And then we have a map of the Mega Taiga that I built my space base in, which is pretty cool. I thought that made a pretty nice wallpaper there. And then if we head downstairs, and first of all, let's go through this painting. Ever since I brought Scruffy up to my bedroom, I actually can't sleep over here because he's a hostile mob, and I can't sleep by hostile mobs. So I actually put my bed over here, which is why I took out these blocks. Before that, I hadn't made the secret entrance. But this secret entrance actually leads to where my first base was. My first base was, well, it was down here somewhere. Now it's actually redstone, but it was down here in this cave, and also where my storage room is kind of where that cave was. There's a cave that started like probably right about here, like right above here. I think my bedroom was actually right about where this laundry chute was, which I forgot to show off. This laundry chute is pretty amazing. I don't remember how this came about. I know I was talking to Cytokind, and I think I was asking like what I should put in my bedroom or something. Like I was thinking of just no, it was even before like I had this all done, and so it was before I knew that I wanted to put something here. But she gave me the idea to put a laundry chute in my house. And at first I thought it was a crazy idea. I was like, no, that's just silly. Like, why would I want a laundry chute? But when I was building it, I ended up actually down in the kitchen. I ended up having like a little extra space over here that I didn't want to have the kitchen stuff all the way over there. So I thought I'd put like a pantry here. And then I realized that like up here, kind of the same thing. Like I wanted maybe like a closet over here. And so her kind of crazy, silly idea started to make a little bit more sense. And I decided to have the laundry chute that takes you from, the top floor to the kitchen to the basement. And back here, just for Cytokind, I even added my laundry room. It's kind of a mess with dirt and pumpkins. That was her request. So a little secret about my house that you may not have known. And the origin of the laundry chute. It's a great design, or it's a great idea. I can't believe I ever thought it was a bad idea. Oh, and speaking of the cave that I first lived in, this mine right here was actually like the first mine that I made. This is the original staircase. I think the cobblestone is actually all original. Came down into this ravine here. This is where I strip mined. These diamonds were like some of the first diamonds that I found, but I left them here because I wanted to, because they were one of the first diamonds that I found. And this goes on for a while. I also had a wither fight down here. Lots of stuff, lots of resources and special things that I have down here. So, if you go back to my earlier episodes and you see the cave that I was living in, this is where the cave was, or this is where the mine was. So you can kind of see in relation where everything else was. And also I have, it's open. I have a little secret entrance back here. This is also where the cave was. And in fact, over here we got a zombie spawner. First spawner I found on the server. Never did anything with it. I did kind of dig it out and get it ready. And in fact, I think this I might even dug up. Oh yeah, this is like all ready. I just never actually made it. I never put the water and the signs in. So, kind of interesting. And then over here we have the maps. They were too laggy to have in spawn, sadly. And actually the original Night Oak, the giant tree that we originally had at spawn, that burned down and we lost probably about half of these maps and a few of these maps. And so later on I decided to finally just remake all of the maps, and it looks amazing. Yeah, that's right. That looks a little bit weird there. And I think that's actually because of the chunk border. Originally on this server, we had decided, because it was 1.6, and we kind of had rumors of new world generation in 1.7. And so until 1.7 came out, we stayed within a 2,000 by 2,000, or a 4,000 by 4,000 area, which is what this map represents. Everything in this map is what we originally had for the first several months. We set up, our original spawn is right about there. There's the gold farm, and obviously Spawn Town is right here. We are up there at our log cabin. We got the desert and all those magnificent things. The message board is up there. Witch farm is over here. Looks pretty cool on there. You can see the perimeter that we dug out. And around the edges, you can kind of see some chunk borders, like right along here. That's where the world didn't get generated until after the first 1.7 snapshot. Got a mushroom island there. Oh, and the Guardian farm's on here. Awesome. That looks pretty cool from up above. I actually haven't seen that yet. That is cool. That must have updated on its own then, because I don't remember actually updating that. And then over here we have a more zoomed in of spawn. This is as zoomed in as you can get. So every pixel is one block. So you really get a really nice sense of what we have done in spawn. It's pretty crazy, it's pretty messy, but it looks so cool. And I guess just a couple of other secrets of my house, just to, you know, let you guys in on them. I have a little secret entrance over here. I don't know how secret it was, or if you guys, I don't know if I've ever used this on camera, but I just had a little secret entrance to get down into my basement real quick from the outside. And also, I'm pretty sure I've never shown this off or talked about this, but this is a rail line that goes almost all the way over to the MC offices. I don't think I ever finished, well, the tunnel goes all the way over there, but I never finished all the track. I kind of ran out of gold rail and never came back and put it all down. Yeah, so the track only goes to there, and wow, this is pretty crazy with all the speed. But this goes all the way over to the MC offices. It is just supposed to be like a really nice, quick way for me to get back to spawn and get kind of to some of the builds that we've done. So that takes you to the basement of the MC offices. We'll take a look at the MC offices a little bit later though, because the next thing we built 1 year ago, well, a little over 1 year ago, I'm recording this on Halloween. We built this beautiful Halloween ride. This was definitely one of my favorite projects on the server, because we really got everyone together and, you know, worked together to get this cool ride built. We're not going to actually take a ride today. I did take a ride pretty recently, and also you can go check out the actual video of the ride in the description, or not the description, but I probably won't put it in the description. Maybe I will, since we are around Halloween. Yeah, I'll put the video, link to the video in the description if you want to see the ride. But we can take a look at some of the behind the scenes. I have done an episode looking at the behind the scenes, but we're going to do even more of the behind the scenes. So, yeah, we have some wonderful dead trees built by Vert. And I think he also built the bridge. End Effect built this wonderful mansion thing. And I did the roof. I think AJ was supposed to do the roof, but he was too lazy, so I did it. And Vert built this Happy Halloween. I think he built that like right before he recorded, actually, because he came out of the ride and it was kind of bland. Like there wasn't really anything back here, so he built that real quick before he recorded his episode. And I built this graveyard over here because this side was really plain. Wasn't anything over here. So this is my first graveyard in Minecraft. Well, I guess second if you count the that little graveyard with my horses. But the NightOwl Halloween Cemetery, dedicated 10/31/13, 1 year ago. And I said in the video, the behind the scenes video, that I would put people's names on these tombstones if they asked for that in the comments. I believe I had 1 or 2 people ask for it, and I kind of forgot about it, so I never put people's names on here. But oh well. And then over here in the graveyard, we have our axis that we went up and down so many times while making this thing. This brings us all the way down to bedrock. We blew up a huge hole here. Vert, AJ, and I believe made a bunch of TNT and just stuck them in droppers or dispensers that just dropped the TNT down and exploded a giant hole as it went through. Which when I made my part over here, which is the haunted library, I actually had to dig pretty much all of it out. In fact, not a lot of people actually used the parts that we blew up, but it did make for a nice big area that you could kind of get started in at least. So this is my haunted rail ride. It's a haunted library. There's a giant squid up top, or not squid, there's a giant slime up top named ND, I think. Yeah, ND, after End Effect. I thought there might have been 2 of them actually at some point. We actually built this in a slime chunk, so we had lots of slimes hopping around while we were making this. And so I got the idea to put that guy up there because before, I don't know when they changed this, but their green slime would actually like fall through the ceiling when they bounced. And so it added like a really cool effect to the ceiling as you rode through here. And yeah, I got these tracks kind of going like pulsating so that you go very slowly. Vengeance Tech showed me that. And then as you round the corner, you go really fast and it says slow down, dead end. And it's like, oh, you're going to run into the wall, but these pull back and you end up going around in a circle. And oh, I'm in a cobweb. Going around in a circle. And this place is supposed to look a lot scarier. I built it at bedrock level so that you'd have the bedrock and the bedrock fog. I thought that would give it a cool touch, but they removed bedrock fog, so we no longer have it. It's very sad. Like, I understand why they got rid of it. It makes sense, although I hope that they kind of add it back and implement it differently, because I really like the effect of the fog. Especially for here, because you were kind of coming down this way, and you couldn't see this thing until you were like right here. Then all of a sudden it popped out at you, and it's like, oh, there's some sort of weird mouth thing that's going to eat you. But then you stop, there's a block that pops up, and you head back this way. And then a bunch of paper like flies out at you, like there's poltergeist throwing paper at you. This ride was partially inspired by Ghostbusters, so we had like the ectoplasm and paper flying everywhere. And then you go down here and a fancy redstone thing happens, and these bookshelves start popping out in a wave, and they chase you down as you kind of go back this way. And then that's the end of the ride. Mine was the last one. I remember it was quite a scramble to finish this thing up in the last few days before Halloween. but we were able to do it, and this is a really annoying tunnel. We didn't do a lot with the tunnels. I think AJ kind of ran through and, well, I know I went through and like kind of got a lot of the tunnels built and made sure that the track worked. And then AJ went through and did a lot of the transition tunnels and did a few different designs. You come out and happy Halloween. So that is the NightOwl Ween ride, one of my favorite things. It's a very involved project, and I think it turned out very nicely. Soon after the Halloween ride, soon after Halloween, I believe it was in November, 1.7 finally came out. And so our world limit was lifted. We were able to go out past the 2,000 block mark. And so I went exploring. I headed straight north, walked for 10,000 blocks, and finally found a mega spruce taiga. This is one of the things that I wanted to find because I love the look of this place with the podsole and the giant spruce trees. Spruce was definitely my favorite wood before 1.7 came out and we got the dark oak. And I really love these tall 2x2 trees. They just look so much nicer. And we found the mega spruce taiga. I kind of took a look around, and this place was the first place that really caught my eye. I was right here, and in fact, oh, Bones, you're here. Awesome. I was right here, and I believe I got blown up by a creeper. That's why this hole is here on camera, so that was fun. And I think I didn't fall all the way down. I just fell down to there, so I was able to survive. But I knew that this is where I wanted to set up shop here. So down here is where I stuck my portal, and I believe I forgot to bring portal materials. I believe that's what happened, which is something that I seem to do often, because I think I did that on the cost server as well. So I had to go down mining, so I was able to get some obsidian. And I'm sure I had to get flint and steel as well so that I could make, well, flint and iron so I can make flint and steel. I haven't been down here in a long time, so I'm actually wondering what's down here. Yeah, I did a lot of strip mining, it looks like. This seems strange. Why would I do this? Unless, actually, I might have run into this when I did strip mining later on. Because I did do some strip mining through here. I don't remember. Like, it seems like the stairway should actually go to some sort of room, but it just goes to this. So maybe that's all the farther I went. I don't know. But I did stick around spawn for a while, and we'll take a look at this in a sec. And finally, I had troubles. Why is there a cow up here? Wait, what? Can he climb up? There's a sheep there. No, there's no way he could climb up there. That's weird. There's a bunch of animals up on the trees. Anyways, I had some trouble trying to figure out what I wanted to actually do out here. And so I stuck around spawn for a while, and finally I got the idea to do this space base. I got the idea that like this, all this new terrain, this new generation was kind of like an alien world. And so I decided to build this shuttle, which I lived out of for a while I did some exploring and caving around here, and while I built that thing. And this thing I think turned out really well. This is one of my favorite builds. I think I'm going to build this on pretty much every world from now on, which I have some catching up to do because I haven't built it on Crash Landing or Sirhc Plays Underground, Minecraft Underground yet. But I think I will. I did build it on the NightOwl fan server though. But yeah, so I lived out of here. I got my bed and furnace and a couple of chests. On the shuttle that I made on the fan server, I actually added a bunch of other things like a brewing stand and well, I think just more storage as well for all my things. And then I have this little storage crate where I have all of my other materials. And then after I built that and lived in there for a while, I started work on this base, which is a beautiful base. The idea was basically we landed on an alien planet on our shuttle. We had like a crate of supplies kind of brought down, and we lived there for a while we just did some exploring. And then this base is supposed to be like a modular pre-built base where like all the separate compartments are built, you know, in a factory somewhere else, and they're shipped here, kind of like a space station where you build all the compartments down here on Earth and then you shoot them up into space and assemble them. That's kind of the idea with this, except you build them out there somewhere and then land them on the surface and then put them all together. So there's different compartments, and then there's little transition parts in between. And I wanted it to be kind of like a space station where it's just a long run with like some things jutting out. So yeah, we have a little airlock that kind of gets messed up because I think mobs step on the pressure plates and screw it up. But yeah, this thing is amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite things ever. I think it turned out really well. And I have everything that I need here. I finally moved in here not too long ago. I suppose we can kind of take a look at everything that we have. We have this door was supposed to be some sort of like airlock, kind of, where you have two different doors. You come in here and there's some chests for storage, for like tools and stuff. Down here is my mine. Did a lot of strip mining in here. Got a lot of resources. And then we can head up here. This was my elevator back up. And actually, while I was digging this tunnel, I had found this the skeleton farm before. There should be a tunnel or a cave over here, yeah. I think I came through this cave and I found the skeleton farm. And so I wanted to build this skeleton farm here, and it just so happened that my mining tunnel, or my mining elevator, actually ended up like right in here, which is pretty nice. And this thing is really nice to have because it's a skeleton farm with a bone meal wheat farm and a cow farm, so I have like everything in one place. You can AFK here and bone meal wheat, and while you're doing that, you're getting bones from the skeletons. And also you can breed the cows that they're getting bred, and you get some steak coming. So that thing works pretty nice. I haven't actually used it too much because I haven't been out here a lot, but it is very nice to have. Then if you continue on, I got my storage room in this compartment, and then a crafting area and some redstone stuff here. And then down this way we have my enchantment area, and the bookshelves pop up. So that's kind of cool. And then another airlock, another entrance over there. And then we head down this way, and we have the kitchen. Oh yeah. This is something that I had designed a while before this. Stupid lightning, get out of here. A while before I actually like built it here. And when I first designed it, we didn't have these nice iron trapdoors, so it didn't look quite as nice like with all the quartz. But now with the iron trapdoors, it looks amazing. But yeah, I wanted a nice futuristic looking base, and I wanted a futuristic looking kitchen. So one of the ideas I had was a little dining set that actually pops out of the walls, which usually you do that to kind of save space. You can compact it into the wall and then have it come out. The only thing is with Minecraft and redstone, the space that the redstone took up, this whole area here, is much larger than the actual table and chairs that comes out, but it still looks really cool. And then I actually have a chest for throwing away items here. Can put that in there, and those will get tossed out into a cactus. And we have a little furnace here. I think these front furnaces actually don't get used. There's two furnaces behind those that get used, just because I wanted this front part to be like nice and flat and clean looking, and so that's the way that it worked out. Over this way one of the last things I put on here is the medical bay. This is my potion brewing area, where in here we have, you know, the hospital beds in case someone is sick or injured. And then up here you have little like observation area as well as potion brewing area so that you can brew your medicines for the sick. And then down this way, I was planning on putting some small indoor farms like cactus farm, sugarcane, maybe like potato and carrot farm, possibly. But that never got done. Never got around to doing that, which is all right. I didn't really have a lot of ideas for it anyways. And I think with that window there, it actually looks pretty nice. Oh, and my bedroom too. I have an elevator going from my kitchen to my bedroom here. Let's just hop down into here and replace that. This is my bedroom. I wanted it to be up above so I could kind of look around. You can't really see much since the window's not very high, but you still get a nice 360 view of everything around you. And then also I decided to put a map here. So we have a map of the actual base, which looks pretty cool on there, and the shuttle over there and the storage crate. And then I decided to just continue making a map. I went south for quite a ways, all the way down to there, and then I went north quite a ways, all the way up to there. That took a while to make, but maps are fun. It's fun to just run around the world and see everything. But yeah, let's just take a quick look around the outside. This wonderful tube design here. That window turned out pretty nice, actually. I like that. I like how that looks. Oh, yes. Awesome build. And then, of course, we passed by this before. This is my landing pad. I had a few ideas for this base that I never did. Like, first of all, the farming branch of my base over there. And then I also had like a whole third stage of this base planned out, or not really planned out, but I had some ideas going for it. Because the first stage was the shuttle, second stage was that base where it's all in one little pod. Third stage was going to be like a big colony where I was going to have this landing pad with ships. I had one idea to have a mining laser where you have some sort of like structure on the surface that looks like it's shooting a beam down into the ground, and I'd use a beacon for that. And then I was thinking of maybe having some sort of item elevator, like with the glass, and have like iron just kind of circulating through it so it looked like it was grabbing iron from the ground, which would be pretty cool, but never got around to that. I was thinking about making factories and like big factories that had like a brewing factory and like a auto smelter and maybe some farms and such. But none of that got done, sadly, which, I mean, it's kind of sad, but also I didn't really have a lot of ideas. And when I was working on this pad afterwards, I've mentioned this before, but I'm not too happy with the way that this looks with all the quartz. My biggest problem is that like the ships don't really pop out at all, since I have basically the same materials in the landing pad. I could have maybe fixed that by using different colors of clay, but just the fact that there's so much quartz here, and which you kind of need because it's the only nice looking block that has slabs and stairs, like, or a nice clean like futuristic looking block. Like here I have some stone brick, and it's not terrible, but it's definitely not my favorite. So I was a little worried about how like the actual colony would turn out and how it would look. And I'm not too sad about not being able to actually make it. One thing I am kind of sad about not doing is Tiger actually gave me an idea a while ago to make like a tree farm, or not a tree farm, but like a treehouse village. It was like right after he started on the server, and he mentioned that my base out here reminds him of Star Wars Episode 6 when they are on the forest moon of Endor, with the Ewoks. Just because that's kind of what the Mega Spruce Taiga looks like. And then I had the space themed stuff. And so when he said that, I got the idea, like, you know, the Ewoks and their tree houses, that'd be kind of cool to do. Like, I had ideas for a while that I wanted to do something with villagers around here. Like, they were kind of the alien race on this planet. So I had ideas to put some sort of like ancient temples or something that maybe, you know, a couple of villagers were hiding out in. But when he said that, I had a much better idea to actually have like some sort of treehouse forest village where the aliens hung out, and I could kind of go visit them and trade with them, trade with the locals. So I'm kind of sad that I never actually got around to doing that. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, I think what we've accomplished out here is not too bad, though. You know, we didn't get a whole lot. We didn't get exactly what I wanted to get done. But I'm very happy with what we did get done. So I started working on that space base. I believe it was a little bit before Christmas last year is when I really got out there and started working on it. And when New Year's Eve rolled around, I really wanted to come back to Spawn. And I was having lots of ideas of what to do around here. One of the main ones was this atrium. This is kind of my New Year's resolution. Originally, we had the large night oak tree, which I did do quite a bit of work on, making like the branches and the roots. Helped out quite a bit with that. But that tree burned down. And so when that burned down, we had to decide what we wanted to do afterwards, if we wanted to rebuild the tree and probably have it burned down again, or if we wanted to I had an idea to do something out of the stump that was left out of it, kind of make it look a little bit more stumpy and natural, and just have the stump, which would have been kind of cool, and basically the inside would have stayed the same. Or we could do something, you know, I was kind of thinking of ideas that didn't involve a tree, some sort of kind of a big town hall type building. And eventually I came up with this, which is a mixture of like the tree and, you know, not tree, a tree and like town hall. I decided it'd be really cool to have a smaller tree that's completely enclosed so that we don't have to worry about lightning. And so this is what came out of it. And I started doing some like little sketches to figure out what I wanted to do. Did a lot of different little concepts and creative. And this is what came out of it. And I think it turned out really well. I started out with obviously the tree and the circle, and then I started working on like trying to figure out what I wanted to branch out from that. And I got this idea with the different circles coming off of it and like wings and the domes. And so I worked on this for a while on and off. I know a lot of parts like I was very nervous about. This thing is a lot different than what I had worked on before. And so it was I was a little nervous that it wouldn't turn out the way that I would like, but I'm very happy with the end result. Like I know one of the first hiccups that I had was this glass. I didn't know how well, first of all, this dome I thought would be like a real pain in the butt to make. You know, I used plots online, and that helped out a lot. And it actually didn't take too long to actually get it built. But I was also worried about like where these different like forms met up, you know, where the dome met up with the cylinder, and down here where like this cylinder met up with this wall here, and all these different like corners and intersections. I wasn't sure if they would turn out well, but they seemed to do, you know, it seemed to come together pretty nicely. And then, of course, inside, I originally had a different tree, and it kind of looked like a lollipop. By the way, I'm using fast graphics because this place is really laggy, and the fast graphics makes it a little bit better with all the leaves here. But I originally had one tree that kind of looked like a lollipop, and I didn't like it and had plans to change it, and I finally did. One of my last things that I did in here was I redid the tree. this area was also another area that I didn't really know what to do. I kind of had an idea. Actually, my idea was pretty close to what's here. Like, I had an idea of a rock wall with the Ender Dragon in the middle, or the Ender Dragon egg in the middle. And I wanted like this pool of water kind of flowing down. And I asked End a while ago to kind of make me a rock wall, see if he could help me out. And he did most of this, and it turned out really nicely. And then I came in much later and finally added like the pools, kind of cleaned up the bottom, added this center area, added a lot of this water, made the waterfalls, and it turned out really nice. And I like the way that looks. It's a great, I think it's a great place to have our dragon egg. Great place for it to reside. Another thing that really held me back with this build was all of the trees. I hadn't done a whole lot with custom trees before, and so I was a little nervous on how that would turn out, but again, I think they turn out pretty nicely. This whole area just looks so good, and I mean, it definitely gives the feel that I wanted it to give. And I got all these bushes and podzol and the trees and these little paths going through here and the lights, and everything just really came together, and I think it turned out very nicely. I think it turned out pretty much exactly what I had hoped for so long. And the moat. And then we have little statue here. Originally I had an end effect here because he won the ABBA tournament. And then Vert won a UHC Season 4 champion. So I stuck him up there. I think AJ is actually supposed to be up there right now, but I never got around to making the new statue. Because I believe his team won the last UHC thing that we had. But yeah, I really like this little statue idea design. And yeah, that's about it for the atrium. You know, a cool moat. I'd take a nice cinematic look around, but my frame rate is really bad. And then of course I have a little secret in here too, which I have shown off. A button that opens up a little storage room down here. This is where I keep a bunch of stuff. There's barely anything actually down here. Just some stone and cobble and a few leaves and such. But the atrium. Now let's head on back to what I like to call the Sirhc district. Actually, I just started calling it that, but this is basically my area of spawn because I have the furnace here, the villager shops. I took over the brewing stand, and then we also have the MC offices. MC stands for maintenance crew. That is primarily just Kamikaze and I. Maintenance crew came about. We can go check this out. We had some problems with this skeleton farm. Inside the tower, and of course it's raining again. Inside of the tower for the skeletons, there was tons of arrows built up in there. The skeletons were trying to shoot each other. We used to have slabs here so that it would stay dark, but you could look in. Well, the skeletons could also see you, and so they'd try to shoot at you, end up shooting each other. And it's Halloween. We got some pumpkins, or skeletons with pumpkins on their head. But the skeletons would shoot each other as they were going up the tower, and the arrows would end up inside blocks. And I keep doing that. And there was a bug where the arrows wouldn't despawn if they got stuck inside blocks. And so we ended up having tons of entities in here. Our frame rate dropped to nothing. It was really bad. So Vengeance Tech, AJ, and Kamikaze were in here kind of cleaning it up, trying to burn it out with like lava. And then I came in and helped as well. We ended up tearing down the whole tower and just getting rid of the arrows that way, and then rebuilding it. And after we did that, Kamikaze and I decided to... Ooh, little leg spike. Let's fix this up. Kamikaze and I decided to actually clean this place up and kind of update it. The floors used to be birch, which we didn't really like, so we added the new dark oak. Dark oak wasn't available when Vert first built this. I think Vert and AJ maybe, but I know Vert was involved, or was kind of main guy. So we put in the dark oak. I also added in a new killing area where the skeletons will fall down and die unless they have armor. Their items will get picked up by hoppers and put into these chests, all sorted out. And then you can also push this button and it will crush the mobs that are down there, like if they survive, and it will also stop them from dying. Dang it. It'll also stop them from dying here, so you can farm them for XP. So that's the origin of the maintenance crew. You know, VT, AJ, Kamikaze, and I were there for that, but once we really fixed all of the FPS issues, the arrow issues, it was mainly just Kamikaze and I who stuck around and cleaned up the area and made it a lot better. And so we decided to call ourselves a maintenance crew. We fixed stuff. I don't remember what our slogan was. And so for a while we kind of went around and just fixed things. We went through and changed all the roads. They used to be, I think they used to be like stone, what were they? I know there was like stone slabs. I think the road was stone slabs and the curb was like cobblestone or stone brick. I don't even remember anymore. But we changed all the roads to this design, a little bit more interesting than what we had before, and not quite as bright as what we had before. I think, you know, they're a little bit more subtle, and so they look pretty nice. But yeah, we've done that. We've fixed like creeper explosions. We've fixed, I don't remember what all we fixed. Like there was a few things that we fixed before we really even started this thing. For a while, we had the idea of making some sort of offices where people could drop off requests for the maintenance crew. And so I designed this building in creative, and I think it's definitely one of the more interesting builds that I've made. And this thing actually kind of inspired the modern house, which we will check out pretty soon. We got the nice purple glass. And yeah, it's definitely a nice, I think it's a nice kind of modern offices look. Take a look inside, and we have our nice little lobby. Shannon, the receptionist, is supposed to be here, but she keeps getting out. She stopped showing up for work. I guess there wasn't enough. We couldn't really pay her, I guess is the thing. You know, we didn't have enough requests. And we couldn't we never really got anything done anyways. So yeah, people can come in here, put their requests in here. This is our office. These are our laptops, nice golden Apple laptops. Got some pending contracts. And down here, we've already kind of seen the basement, but this is where we keep some storage of stuff. This is one of the reasons why I wanted this office, was just a way, I just wanted a place to kind of store items, honestly, in spawn. Because my house, it's not super far away, but it is like on the other side of a mountain. So it's kind of a pain to like run back and forth all the time when I'm working on things in spawn. Especially when we were doing like roads and doing a lot of stuff all around spawn. This came in handy. And Saito gave us a lot of requests. I guess these aren't all Saito's, but Saito's request, totally not a shredder. We definitely wouldn't put her items in a shredder, or her requests in a shredder. And just one last look at the MC offices. And here we are at the witch farm. Chronologically, I started working on this quite a bit before all the other things. But originally, I had a different design here. I tried making like a giant witch hut looking thing, and it was very enclosed. It used the shifting floor kind of thing in here, but I didn't have all this space, and so the mobs didn't spawn quite as much as they do here. And so eventually, I came back after doing all that other stuff, and we really worked on this thing and got it working and got it looking nice. So this is what became the witch farm. This is JL, some numbers, JL's design. It works very nicely. It uses, you know, the tripwires to activate like a little pulsing clock thing that sends a signal and shifts the floor. And yeah, that's how it works. And then the so as soon as the witches spawn, they should fall right through the floor. They fall down here, and actually I had all this built before I did that. But this is the collection room, way bigger than it needs to be, but I love making things looking nice. I had the idea to have a bunch of pixel art here. Pixel art is definitely nice when used appropriately, like with the furnace, like how I use it, like with the furnace and here as well. You know, these are the 4 main items that you get from witches that are nice. All the dust. So the only one that I think they all look pretty good except for redstone, and maybe I guess glowstone is kind of hard. There's not a lot of yellow textures, and a lot of the yellow textures are kind of orangish, and so I had to use more greener textures than I would like. And then the redstone, my biggest problem is actually I don't know which is darker, the red wool or the red stained clay. Because like on here you have, you know, the red here, and then you have the darker red. But it's kind of hard because like in here, this one has a lot more contrast. That's the difference. This one has a lot of bright red, but it also has a lot of darker red. And this one's like in the middle of those two, but it's more even. So I don't know if I have those right, if they should be switched or not. They should probably be switched. And in fact, I think I've changed it a couple times. But yeah, this is the collection area. They fall down onto soul sand, and all their items are picked up by hoppers underneath there and brought over here to get sorted automatically. I have some netherwort stuff there. Netherwort farms, and over here I have some brewing stands. Part of the reason for that is if we go through this portal, we actually end up at the blaze farm. And this portal has been here for a while, before it actually connected to... actually, I think it connected to a cave underneath the swamp. And Vert did that so that you could put a water source there so that you could bring water into here, or fill up your water bottles to brew potions. Because this blaze farm, you use the harming potions to kill the blazes and get your rods. So that portal in the nether has been there for a while, connecting to a cave where you can fill up your water bottles. And when I was trying to hook up a portal to this thing, I ended up connecting, and it was like, oh, they're actually like right on top of each other, which was kind of nice because then we could just use the blaze farm tunnel to get to here as well. And so I also have some potion brewing areas so that you could actually use some of the materials right here and make the harming potions that you need for the blaze farm. Hello, witches. And then of course, just because I like to make a big show, I decided to go through here and level out all the ground, clear it all out. I think it looks a lot better than just having torches everywhere. And it looks so much more impressive. There was a large desert. As you can see here, there's a lot of stone here and sand. There was quite a big desert here that we cut out. I had some help from Micro and Kamikaze and Chad and Cytokind. We all worked together to kind of clear a lot of this out, and ended up looking pretty nice, pretty epic. I never really finished this. I wanted to kind of clear that out, but I was thinking of adding some sort of like boat that you would take a ladder to when you came out of the witch farm. But instead we just have the original hut that has been there since I first came out here. Also, I fought my first wither right over there, and I kicked his ass. Just saying. A long time ago, End Effect built this modern house, the first modern house on the server, and I had always wanted to build a modern house over here. I wanted to kind of have like a modern house district, and I think I had mentioned it actually in maybe my New Year's resolution video where I talked about how I wanted to work on spawn and kind of renovate it some more. And Tiger was actually the second one. He came over here, thought that was a good idea, and so he built his modern house. And then I finally started working on my modern house here, and it is awesome. I love it. It's kind of, it's kind of strange. It's a little bit bigger than I think it should be. Like this whole area is one big space, which I think is really cool. It adds a nice, you have this big window where you can basically see into most of the house. But there's a lot of space to fill, and there's not a lot. Like I think I'd like the house better if it was a little bit more claustrophobic. Whereas here, like, you just have tons of space above you and around you. But yeah, this is my first ever modern house. I think the first thing I worked on here was the kitchen. I did a lot of interior design here, and I really practiced my interior design quite a bit. And I think I'm not too bad at it. I think I have a little bit of a talent. Or at least I've seen other people do interior design, and I can kind of use those ideas that I've seen. But yes, this is my kitchen. One of my main problems with this whole area is I have way too many shelves. And so it's a problem trying to fill all the shelves with stuff. And so I have some wither skeleton skulls around here, because those are a nice thing to have around your house. I think I have like 4 of them. Yeah, there's 4 of them around here. Possibly 5. I think it's only 4 though. Jack-o'-lanterns and pots, and I put a minecart just because. We got a nice... Oh, why is that? Did that melt? What would have melted it? Let's fix that. Yep, that's about right. Got a little dining table here, and when we got the new doors, I used to have normal oak wood doors, but now that we have the new doors, these work very nicely for chairs, because you actually have different designs, which is pretty cool. You can look out at the modern house lake. You come downstairs, and we have my bedroom. Yep, there's 5 wither skulls in here. Got my bedroom in here with some shelves and paintings and a closet. Over here to the bathroom, I have a shower and a toilet. This is my mirror, and this is where you find out that you're actually a creeper. You've been a creeper the whole time. And then I have a secret entrance back here. This is my storage. It used to be redstone I was trying to make a bigger version of the fish tank that I have in the log cabin, but I could never get it to work how I wanted to. And so I just cleared out the redstone and used this as storage for lots of stuff. And then out here we have living room with some more shelves and some bookshelves. My TV that I used maps for behind some glass panes and coal blocks for speakers. I think that turned out really well. Nice comfy couch to look at the TV. And then over here, my pride and joy. This is Drax, my pet guardian. I will definitely have to get a pet guardian for the next map as well. Got this guy from the Guardian Farm, which we will go check out after this. And he's my little buddy. This was my compromise after I couldn't get the stupid fish tank to work. I think I worked on it 3 episodes in a row. I had a bunch of different ideas that I tested out, and I couldn't get any of them to work as reliably as I wanted. So I decided we're gonna just bring a big fish in here that's gonna hop around. He's not in water, so he's probably not too happy about that. But if there was water here, then you wouldn't be able to really see him, and it would be sad. So there he is, Drax, named after the Guardian of the Galaxy. Did a lot of cool paintings around here. And then outside, I have a nice little fire pit using armor stands. This is something I saw on Reddit. Very cool design. Whoever made that is totally awesome. I like it a lot. And then, of course, we just have a little bit of exterior landscaping. I never really finished the yard. And I also never got rid of all the torches in here. That was one thing that I didn't get around to doing. We still have torches. Do we still? Oh, down here that we do. It's actually not too many torches. Like, it wouldn't have been too hard to get rid of all this lighting. At least, like, in here. Because, I mean, that torch isn't too bad. And I could have just put a jack-lantern closer. And up here, there's not really... What's lighting all this? I don't even know. We're getting lit up here. Oh, I remember. I put jack-o'-lanterns behind the paintings. That's what's doing that. That'll work. I don't even remember. So I did start on some of the lighting, I guess, by putting lights behind the paintings, but I didn't get rid of all of it. And there's still... I didn't really do anything. Well, I don't even know what I would do up here. There's not much to do with the roof to be able to get rid of lighting there. And I did have plans to put like some trees or something along here. Never really finished the curb or the road. Stupid rain. But yeah, so there is the modern house. I'm in Civil Log's modern house right now. And I remember on the cost server, I would always go over to his house and mess up the items in his item frames. And I haven't done it in a while, so we're going to do that right now. Memories. This is what you get for putting items in item frames. People are gonna mess it up. And now with 1.8, there's so many different ways to mess them up. So many different ways. 1.8 came out, and we got Guardians. So of course we had to farm them. I can hear them down there killing the squid. And so of course we had to farm them. Chad and Kamikaze and Micro, I believe, found this area out here that spawns Guardians. There wasn't a temple out here because we had already generated this in 1.6. But we were able to make a farm. We spent a lot of time digging this out. I did most of it, to be honest, clearing out all this water. I think I spent maybe like I had a day off and I spent the whole day just clearing out all the water here, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. We got it done. And then of course we made Guardian Farm. I have a little tutorial video kind of showing this off. It works pretty nice. It just has, you know, a bunch of platforms of spawning spaces, and all the water pushes the Guardians to a central drop point. There are a few issues, like mobs get stuck in the corners, but the rates are honestly good enough that it doesn't matter if they kind of hang out here for a while. But yeah, they all get pushed down here to the center. They fall down, and I just have them taking fall damage. And then all the items get picked up by the hoppers and sorted out into all of these chests. There's so many items that you get from this thing. We don't have a lot of shards in there, I guess. There's quite a few crystals, because you definitely get more crystals than you need, because you don't get enough shards to make all of the sea lanterns. Plus, you know, you need the shards for all of the bricks and the prismarine and the dark prismarine. And then, of course, we have tons and tons and tons and tons of fish. I have brought tons of fish back to spawn already, and there's still tons of them in there. So it's pretty crazy how many items you get from here. But it's like, even with all the items that you get from here, like all these double chests, even if you fill these all up, like the amount of bricks that you get, like if you were making prismarine bricks, which takes 9 shards, still doesn't seem like a lot. Like basically, one line of this would be a stack of bricks, so you'd get 6 stacks of bricks per chest, which isn't that great, which is why I have 16 chests here. So you'd get 16 times 6, which is a number. Why did I put myself up to math? It's like 96 or something, isn't it? That seems close, somewhere around there. So yes, that is the Guardian Farm. A lot of time went into this. A lot of waiting as well, AFKing, since I did build it out of prismarine. I wanted to do that from the get-go, and so I built as much as I could from when we went out to find a temple when we first updated, and we tore it down, or tore most of it down. So I got a lot of this, or I got some of like the first platform built, maybe even all of it built, I don't remember. But I ended up building like a little bit out of cobblestone, just so that we could get it working, and so I could AFK here and get more prismarine. And then I replaced what I had built out of cobblestone and started working on the rest of the levels. And so it took a lot of time, but it finally came together. And also, one thing I should mention is I've said before that it seems like they only spawn in the darkness over here. And that is true. They spawn less in sunlight. These lights don't matter, but sunlight does. And the way that these things are coded is they... like they're coded so that in the wild, in a temple, they're more likely to spawn inside of the temple. And so they're less likely to spawn in direct sunlight, which means, you know, they're usually inside of a structure. And they're more likely to spawn if there is blocks that are not water between them and the sky, I believe is what it is. So that's why they don't spawn very much on this top layer. You'd want to cover it up, and then you'd want to cover up these sides too. And that should actually increase the spawn rates quite a bit. I haven't tested it out, but I might need to check that out. So as I said, we got tons of fish from the Guardian farm, and I brought tons of them back to spawn, and I needed a place to put them. And that is where this thing came from. I wanted to build some sort of restaurant where I could put all the fish so that people could use that as a food source, and I could get rid of all that fish. So I built this boat, Sirhc Surf and Turf. I think my first boat in Minecraft. Lots of firsts on this server, and I hope I have some more firsts on the next map. But yeah, this is my restaurant. I planned on doing a restaurant for a while. I actually started working on this thing, but kind of ran out of ideas, so it never really got done. And then Saito took it over and finished it, and it looks really cool. So instead, I built this restaurant, my ship, and I think it turned out really nice. I like the way it looks. It's very claustrophobic, which I think is really nice in a build. Like, as long as you can move around an area, like, I really like claustrophobic builds just because it feels so homey and nice. And I did a lot more of my interior designing here. We got some like fish nets over here, some rope or some ladders, which is supposed to be like rope. We have some chests and crates and stuff around. A painting of a ship captain or some sort of painting. A fish up on the wall. And yeah. And in here we have our kitchen. This is where all of our fish are. I have furnaces that cook them up, and then they come down and collect in here. And I got a chicken farm going as well, so that just because the other chicken farm wasn't quite working as well as we'd like, and it never really had chicken in there, so I built this other one so that we could maybe get some more chicken here on the server. But yeah, up on the deck of the ship, got some more crates and stuff. And got like little white portholes, white glass portholes. And the SS, like a villager, Yep. So I think that is it. That's pretty much the last thing that I worked on. The last new thing. I mean, the last thing I built was out at the space base, but this is one of the last projects that I've worked on this map. And that's going to conclude our tour. It's probably been like super long, but I hope you have enjoyed kind of a little insight on everything that I've done on this server. Some of the little known facts that maybe you guys did not know about builds, because I've probably never told you, but yeah. Anyways, make sure to watch out for the new season. Today we are resetting November 1st, unless you're watching this after, well, the day that this goes up. If you're watching it afterwards, then we've already reset the map. But the day that this goes up, we are resetting, so most likely right now I am working hard on the new map. I have lots of ideas. Make sure to go check that out, and make sure to subscribe to all of us on the server so that you really get a good sense of everything that's going on. I mean, there's so many wonderful builds here. I really wish I could do a tour of everything, but it would just take way too long. I did that for episode 50 and 51. So if you do want to kind of see a tour of everything, I did take a look at a lot of the things that are here back then. Otherwise, Tiger has done a cinematic trailer for season 1. It is really nice, really epic. He just has some nice shots of a lot of the major builds. So make sure to go check that out. That should be up today as well. And just keep an eye out for season 2. Thank you all for a wonderful season. This has been really amazing being on the server, and I can't wait to continue. Goodbye, peoples.